up, I did not have a good relationship with my dad. When I got older, or whenever I was younger, my mom and me were best friends. We were literally like this. Like, I thought that I could trust my mom with anything. Well, come to find out, it was the exact opposite. My mom was so manipulative and so cruel that she brainwashed me into thinking that my dad didn't love me and didn't want anything to do with me. And it was all because I was gay and because he was on drugs. Well, come to find out, it was my mom who didn't love me and didn't want anything to do with me because of the fact that I was gay and she was seeing other people. So when I was 15, she was on our family computer and she was seeing somebody else behind my dad's back, and they were online chatting, and it woke me up at 2 o'clock in the morning because I woke up in the middle of the night. Hold that thought. Congratulations, you guys, on that victory. Cupcake, you got 3 warrior scrolls. Congratulations, you guys. The next one's going to be a 3-school robot storage. If you guys want to take part in that, just type in !battle in the stream chat. Follow the link in that chat command, and we'll get that started here in just 30 minutes, okay? But, so she woke me up in the middle of the night while she was chatting with this person on Yahoo Messenger because the family computer was in my bedroom. And I came up from behind her. Wasn't trying to sneak. I just didn't know what was happening. So I came up from behind her and saw what she was saying. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she immediately closed out the chat and basically told me that she's seeing somebody else. And I was like, I'm not going to say anything because it's not my place to say anything. And I was like, but hey, Dustin, how are you, bub? What's going on? Miles. Hey, Miles. Hey, Miles. Yeah, what's up, bub? But I told her I wasn't going to say anything because it wasn't my place. And I was like, but if you're that miserable, I'm doing good, Dustin. I'm doing good. I'm giving a little pep talk. But if you were that miserable, you need to leave and go be happy because there's no sense in it. And she was so scared that I was going to tell my dad what she was doing that about a week later, I had kept the secret. I hadn't told anybody, not a single soul. But I was eating lunch with my grandmother, and you guys know, through past streams, I've told you guys that I'm a medium and somewhat psychic and all that good stuff. And we were in the middle of eating dinner, and all of a sudden my stomach just clenched. Literally, I got so sick I couldn't take the first bite of my food, and I told my grandmother, I was like, I need to borrow your phone because something's wrong. And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I don't know, but something's wrong. And I was like, I don't know what it is, but something's happened. And I was like, I just need to call mom and check on her because something's wrong. So she let me borrow her cell phone. I called my mom, and I was like, is something wrong? And I was like, because I have a really bad feeling that something's wrong. And she's like, no, nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. I was like, okay. So I went back, handed my phone back, or handed my grandmother's phone back to her. And I was like, I just can't shake this feeling that something's wrong. I need to go home. So we paid for the dinner, and she was taking me back to the house because she lived like literally just about 400 feet away from the house. Like right next door to us. And she dropped me off at the house, and I went inside. And my mom swore that there was nothing wrong, but I could tell that she was up to something. Like when someone's being really suspicious, that you could just get that feeling, and well, I knew. So I laid low for a couple of days, and then all of a sudden, shit hit the fan. What had happened was my mom, the guy that she was seeing, he was a computer junkie, a computer nerd. And he taught her how to hack into my Yahoo Messenger account and see where I had talked to some of my friends. Like he had like hacked into my account and pulled up my message history and saw where I talked to a couple of friends of mine from school about how I thought that I was gay. And so later on, a few days later, she confronted me and cussed me out and then asked me if it was true. And I said, well, you already know. You're the one who went through my computer. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I think I'm gay. So she cussed me out. She called my dad, who had been out drinking and doing whatever else, and told him that he needed to talk to me because I was no longer her son, because she refused to have a fag for a son. And he came in and he asked me if it was true, and I said yeah. And he punched me across the face, and then he took a picture of me and threw it across the room and smashed it into a million pieces. And then he didn't say anything else to me. He walked outside. About 30 minutes came in, went by. All of this was with my mom screaming at me to get my clothes and to get out, that I was no longer welcome in her house and I was no longer her son. Um, I don't know what changed. I have no idea what changed. But my dad comes back in and he did a complete 180. And he apologized to me for hitting me and acting the way he did. And like pulled me or told me to come outside, and I was like, I'm not going anywhere with you. I was like, I don't care if you apologize for what you've done. I don't care if you feel bad for it. I don't care. And but he finally talked me into coming outside with him, and I was like, before you even start, I know you hate me. You don't have to tell me. I know that you hate me. Yeah, I've known it since I was a little boy. You know, I know. You don't have to tell me. And he started crying and he was like, look, I've not been a good dad to you and I'm very sorry. He was like, there are things that are going on that are no excuse for the way I've treated you, but you need to know that this is not your fault. And he's like, and you can go and put your clothes back up. You're not going anywhere. At the end of the day, I don't care if you're straight. I don't care if you're gay. You are and always will be my son. And I'm so sorry. And he cried and everything like that. And I cried and still didn't want anything to do with either one of them. But he told my mom, he was like, you're not throwing him out of this house. That's it. You're not doing that. So my mom, that wasn't enough for her. My mom took me over to my grandparents, who are very religious, and told them, and they asked me if it was true, and I said yeah. And my grandmother and me are still, like, my grandmother has always been more of a mom to me than my mom was. Um, and she told me instantly that she loved me, that she didn't understand because she's never experienced feelings like that, and it just wasn't something that was well known in her day and age, especially where we live. Like, I was literally the third openly gay person to go through the school in the entire history of the school, in my hometown. But she told me it was all going to be okay and that she loved me regardless. Nothing I could say or do was going to change that. And that pissed my mom off even more because now I had two people in my corner. So she went further into my instant messenger account and had saw where I had talked to one of my girlfriends at school about the fact that I had met a boy. He wasn't a boy, he was a man. I'd met a man at a dance competition, and absolutely nothing happened between us. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But I had feelings towards this man, and this man had liked me. But for one, they lived like 2 or 3 hours away. For two, I was 15, fixing to be 16. For three, I might have actually been 16, about to be 17. I don't know, but anyways, 2 or 3 hours away. Nothing happened. And there we go. So, but she she had saw where I had talked to him, and I told him that I thought that I was gay and that I had a crush on him. And she called my aunt, which absolutely hates me, and the two of them went to the police station and told them that I had talked to this guy and that he and that they wanted to press charges on him because they felt like he's the reason that I turned gay. Well, the police laughed at them in their face and told them to leave, that there was absolutely nothing they could do because I had not set up a way to come and meet this person, nor had this person set up a way with me to come and meet me. Nothing had happened. We had literally just talked over instant messenger. There was nothing they could do, and they needed to go home. And they came back home, my mom came back home. She was furious at this point, so she called every single member of my family and tried to get every single one of them to disown me. And they did, with the exception of my dad's side of the family. You turned gay not because of some weird guy, but just because you're a badass. You're our fact. We embrace you for who you are, and we want nothing less than you for you. Well, thank you, babe. Thank you, Dustin. I love you guys. I do. And I promise I'm going to get to the end of this story here in a minute. There's a reason that I'm telling you this story, Lustrous. But my mom and my aunt got everyone on my mom's side to disown me, with the exception of my older brother and my sister-in-law. And they wouldn't have anything to do with me, and I grew up instantly, like overnight. So this continued on for about 3 weeks, and I would cry literally every single day, every day, at school, after school, on the bus, full 9 yards. I cried every single day. And then she took me to the health department, even though at the time I was still a virgin, and she made me get an HIV test. And then she took me to the local church that my grandmother attends and wanted me to start going to church there. And I was supposed to ride the bus home from school on Wednesdays to go to church and be a part of the youth group. And they told me that I would never be a member of the church because I was gay. And I was like, well, then I don't need to be here, and I won't be going back. And I was like, and just so you know, I'm one of the people that's on the outside. I know what's going on behind closed doors that you don't want anybody to know about. I was like, so I suggest that you call my mother and you tell her that I will not be coming back to church here, and I never want to hear from you people again. So finally, after about 3 weeks, my dad finally put his foot down and was like, leave him alone. It's over. It's done. Leave him alone. It's done. And, later on, my dad and me got pretty close. Extremely close, actually. And he had got off drugs, and he ended up getting very sick. He got very, very sick. And he survived for about 10 years, and then he ended up passing away about 5 or 6 years ago. And the reason I'm telling you this story is it's not to, like, play this, like, poor, pitiful me thing or anything like that. It's not that at all. I'm not trying to say I have it worse than anybody else. The reason I'm telling you this story is because finding out that my mom, the way things truly were with my mom, and the fact that she still to this day hates me over the fact that I'm gay, and has put me through hell, or tried to at least, I realize who my family is, and I realize that I don't need my family's support. You know what I'm saying? Like, my parents' support. Like, I have the support that I need. And that's with my chosen family. And I have went now, it's been almost 2 years without speaking a word to my mom because of some stuff that she's done here recently. And I don't need that in my life. I don't need that negativity in my life, and I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to have it in my life. Like, there came a time where I had to realize that I was enough and that I wasn't going to let other people's opinions of me who didn't love me, who never did love me, and who never will love me, and their true intentions behind the way they did. I had to realize that that doesn't speak anything about me. That speaks everything about them. And that is, oh, Kenji Oda, I love you too. And thank you for that. And that's their fault. That's not your fault, bros. That's their fault. And that's their loss. If they are giving you a hard time and they don't appreciate you and the things that you bring to their life, that speaks nothing about you. That speaks everything about them. And basically you can tell them to fuck off because they don't deserve having someone as wonderful as you in their life, okay? So don't stress. Don't worry yourself to death. Don't let the demons in your head try and tell you that um there's reasons why your parents have treated you this way and you somewhat deserve it, because you don't. You don't. And you're gonna get to the point. It might take a while. Everyone does it on their own time. Um, but you'll get to the point where you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care anymore. This doesn't have anything to do with me. This has everything to do with you people. And if you guys don't want me in your life, or you can't accept me for who I am, then deuces. Because you're a wonderful person and you deserve all the happiness and love in the world, just like everybody else in this stream does. Everybody. You put a lot into retrospect for me. My family is lazy, not full of hate, just lazy. Thank you, Miles. Thank you so much for sharing. You are more than welcome. You are absolutely more than welcome. That's what I'm here for. And I hope that you guys, I hope you guys know that if it doesn't matter, like, the fact that we've not met each other in person or anything like that, you guys matter. And you guys mean a hell of a lot to me. You sure as hell mean a lot more to me than my family that has absolutely nothing to do with me. So just know that, you guys matter, and I'm here for you guys. If you guys need someone to vent to, I've always got my phone on me, and I will be here for you to the end of time. And I mean that absolutely 150%. Okay? You made me feel better. Thank you for not giving. Oh, Rose, you're more than welcome. Listen, you'll be surprised at what you can handle whenever you have no choice. Like, honestly, I never wanted to come out. I was one of those people that I was just going to live my life in the closet because I didn't want my family to look down on me, but I don't care. At this point, it is what it is. You either love me and accept me for what I am, for what and who I am, or you're not a part of my life. That's it. That's it. I'm not going to make you apologize for the fact that you're one way. You're not going to make me apologize for the fact that I'm the other way. That's just how it is. And you'll get there, and you will. And you're a strong individual. I know that. I can feel that. And you'll get to that point just like I did, to where you're like, you know what? If you're not adding to my life, then get out. Deuces. And once you do, you will feel so much better. But don't rush it. You'll get there. You'll get there. When you have had absolutely 150% enough, you'll get there. And that's when you say, that's it. I'm done. You're not going to hurt me anymore. But that's it. I promise that will come. I'm sorry that you had to endure all of that, and I would take away everyone's pain if I could, but it makes us who we are. We can either learn from it or let it consume us. Cupcake, I'm glad that you said that, because I actually did let it consume me for about a month or two, and then after that second month, that was it. That's it. Like, I eventually told my mom, I was like, you know what? I might be a queer, I might be a fag, I might be all these things that you say that I am. But there's a lot of things that you are that I'm not. Thank God for that. And I was like, and if you don't want me to be your son anymore, if I'm an embarrassment to you, That's fine. But remember, there's going to come a day when you need me. And when that day comes, before you pick up the phone to call me, I want you to remember everything that you've done and everything that you said. Because you don't know me, and I'm an embarrassment to you, and everything else. Well, now you're about to see how big of an embarrassment that you are to me. I firmly believe without the pain we endure, we wouldn't become the people we are now. Without all the depressing endeavors, without all the pain, without all the turmoil, we wouldn't be able to develop the strength to become who we are. That's very true. That's very true, Dustin. And it was a hard pill to swallow and a hard lesson to learn. But I'm so glad that I did, because the thing about it, like, honestly, you guys, honestly, this is the reason that I started this stream. It wasn't to become an affiliate. It wasn't to sit here and play video games horribly. It wasn't to make money. It wasn't anything. I want to be a voice for the people who feel like their voice has been taken away from them, or they're not strong enough to be able to voice how they feel on their own, and someone who feels like they don't have support. Because I know what it feels like. I've been there. I've done the whole 9 yards. I've bought the t-shirt. I've took it back and rebought it again. I've done everything with it. So whenever I became an adult, I made a promise. That as long as I had the ability, nobody that I came across was going to feel like nobody cared about them, and nobody was going to have to experience life's hardships on their own. So whenever the thought of streaming crossed my mind, I instantly knew that this is something that I'm supposed to do, because I was going to be able to make connections with people. We were going to be able to have these deep conversations, and then we were going to get to go and play some games, and y'all were going to get to laugh at me for being stupid and falling off the edge of a cliff, or running straight into an ambush or something multiple times. But this is what I'm here for, you guys. I want you guys to know that when I tell you guys I love you guys, I know every streamer out there says that to their communities. I love you guys. You guys mean the world to me, blah, 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 blah. But what I want you guys to realize is that you guys are a part of my family. And if you guys weren't here, this stream wouldn't be what it is. So if there's anything that I can do to help you, that's what I want to be able to do. Kenji Oda, I love you guys. I do. Oh, I wouldn't say that. No, I wouldn't say all that. All I would say is that I just want to be I just want to be there for the people that I can be. That's it. That's all it boils down to. I just try to be the absolute best that I can be for all of you guys, because you deserve it. Every single one of y'all deserve it. So, there you go. Kenji Oda, thank you. I appreciate it. But Rose, I promise you things are going to get better. I promise you. You just have to put the how do I put this? You just have to make the decision that basically you're going to kick the demon's ass in your head that are telling you that, like, things are never going to be any different. Your family doesn't care. You're not worth it. Blah, 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 blah. You have to tell the demon to shut the hell up and go back to hell where they belong. And you will feel so much better. I promise. You will feel so much better. And it's hard. It's very hard. I'm not saying that you can just snap your fingers and be like, okay, I'm better now. I feel so much better. But I promise, I absolutely promise you that things will get better for you. I promise. Anxiety is a bitch. Anxiety is a huge bitch. I still suffer from anxiety, and I dance for 1,200 to 1,600 people a day. And I still get anxiety about things like being around a bunch of people I don't know and being out in public by myself and everything. I don't like. Mm-mm. But I promise you, things will get better. I promise. Just take you a few deep breaths. Go to the bathroom if you need to, if you're out in public. Just sit there by yourself for a few minutes. Take all the time you need. Sit there, get yourself cool, calm, and collected. Take you a few deep breaths. Splash some cool water on your face to calm yourself down. And then when you come back out that door, you take life by the balls, and just run with it. And I promise you, it will all be okay. I absolutely promise you. Okay. Welcome to my TED Talk. Kenji Oda, I promise you, you are not worthless. In any way, shape, or form, you are not worthless. So I'm going to tell you guys a mantra. When I start having extreme anxiety, when I start having like really bad anxiety, I will repeat this to myself over and over and over again until I feel better. And the mantra is second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. Okay? And what that means is that when you are feeling like you're not going to make it through and the anxiety is getting the best of you, it gives you something to focus on with your breathing. So like say like like when someone's going through a really hard time and they say I'm living minute by minute, that's what you need to be in the mindset of. You're surviving second by second until you get to the point to where you move up to the next level, which is minute by minute. Then hour by hour, day by day. And then eventually everything just cools down. We are Kenji Oda. We sure are. It's like after coming out of a deep depression and a stressful time in my life, it's like my one card pull today, the Knight of Cups reversed it. It's like my emotions are raw. And that's honestly, Rose, that's actually pretty common for people to feel that way because you're going through an extremely stressful time. It's not uncommon for people to feel that way that are going through depression and anxiety and things along those lines. It's really not. Honestly, I would be kind of worried if you wasn't feeling raw emotions after going through all of that mentality and everything. But what I want you to know is that it's okay. I promise you, babe. It's okay for you to feel those raw emotions. That's your body releasing all of that energy that's built up, that stressful energy, for you to feel that way. If you need to go bawl your eyes out, do it. If you need to scream, do it. If you need to just run, do it. That's your body telling you it's time. It's just letting go of it, And if you keep holding on to those raw emotions and you don't let yourself experience it, eventually it's going to build up to this huge mass that's inside of you that's just going to make it harder and harder and harder to get through, So let yourself feel those emotions. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing. It's okay. Kenji Oda, standing out is not a bad thing. You stand out because you are unique. You are different and it shows. You think differently than others. You approach situations differently and you carry yourself differently. This is why you stand out. I agree, Dustin. The feeling of being in a crowded room screaming and no one pays attention is the worst, but the way I see that, and it's taken me forever to learn, is that I am not here to please anyone. I am here because I am the result of what was once love that turned to tragedy. But I'm here to make myself happy. Exactly. Exactly. We all have our own different journeys to take. And it's up to us to decide on if we're going to take that journey or if we're just going to let it just keep going by. And I'm a pale white male in Florida who refuses to get a tan, standing out as knowing what you want, knowing and then getting what you want, need and want. But exactly. Me, Dustin, me, Earthbound, Cupcake, and Jules, Mrs. Samurai, all of us are here for you guys. Every single one of us are here for you guys. You guys can feel free to message us at any time. Anytime. It might take us a little bit to get back to you, depending on what's going on at work or whatever. But I promise you we'll get back to you. And we love you. And you guys matter. And you guys mean the absolute world to us. And we're all so glad that you're here. We really are. We really are. Okay. So, all right, you guys. So our Stream Raider battle is up. Virtual hugs for everyone. You get a hug, and you get a hug, and you get a hug. All right, you guys. Let's do our Stream Raider